Hi my friends, in today's video we are going to make a bottle stopper with the shape of a mushroom using the bark as a design element. Hi my friends, how are you? I hope everybody's fine. My name is Daniel Villarino. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In the past videos we have been seeing different elements that we can use for the design of bottle stoppers. And one thing that we normally use in bowls is whether to use a natural edge or not in the bowl. So basically either you turn it one way, in which case it doesn't have the natural edge, or you turn it the other way around, in which you will have the natural edge. It's not something that you see too much in spindle work, but it can be used for small projects, like for example these bottle stoppers. I have here this small piece of Ilex opaca. Is the American holly. I have several of these in my house. Several years ago I pruned it and I got these pieces. I covered the end grain with CA glue to avoid cracking, and it must be pretty dry at this time. So the idea is to use this part as the top, round it a little bit, leave the bark as a design element on the border of what is going to be like a mushroom, and then this will be the base for the bottle stopper. I have another piece, maybe I will do a couple of them, but at least for the video I would like to demonstrate the use of the bark as a design element in bottle stoppers. That's today's video. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get to work. I was just mounting one of the pieces of American holly when I realized it had a chainsaw cut just in the area of the bark that I wanted to leave the natural edge. So I decided to mount the other piece. I will hold it with the chuck jaws. In the tailstock I will mount a Jacob's chuck with a Forstner bit of 1.5 inches in diameter. Rotating at about 450 RPMs, I will form an area that will function as the seat for both the bottle stopper chuck and then the bottle stopper stainless steel hardware. It does not have to be too deep, just enough to even up that circular area. Next, I will put in the tailstock an 11 32 of an inch bit to make a perforation. The perforation has to be deep enough so later I can generate, with the tap, enough threads to accept the bottle stopper chuck screw. The last preparation step is to tap the threads. For that I use a tap of 3/8 of an inch and 16 TPIs, which is the measure of the chuck under hardware. Using the tailstock as a guide to make the circular seat, the perforation for the threads and the threads themselves, I made sure that everything is perfectly aligned and that when I screw the chuck in the blank, or at the end when I screw the stainless steel hardware, the contact between the wood and the flat part of the hardware will be perfect. The blank is ready to mount in the bottle stopper chuck. Here you can see the threads I just made. Because there is a good contact where the yellow arrow shows, the blank is firmly secure and there will be no vibration while turning. In any case, I bring the live center while I am roughing the piece. I am going to rough only the left half, that will be where the mushroom stem is. Remember that in the cap part, I want to preserve the bark as a decorative element. For truing up this portion, I am using the skew chisel, but I could have used the roughing gouge or even a spindle gouge. Stopping briefly to examine the progress, I find a couple of things that will require attention. A few knots that will require CA glue application, and a part of the bark that is loose and it is better to remove. Oh well, we will see how the final product looks like. I use a spindle gouge to begin to work on what will be the top of the cap of the mushroom. I am turning at about 2000 RPMs. I have slowed down this take because I want you to observe how, all along the cut, I try to keep the bevel of the spindle gouge rubbing softly against the wood surface. This technique allows for a more stable, continuous and safe cut. When executed correctly, this type of cut leaves a nicely finished surface out of the tool. I am going to begin to work in what will be the underside of the cap and a little in what it will be the stem of the mushroom. I would like to highlight that when I am starting these cuts, the gouge's position is completely closed. In other words, you cannot see the flute from the top. This will avoid a catch and also will prevent the gouge from skidding towards the bark side. I stop briefly to check my progress and I see that indeed I have 3 checks from 3 respective knots. I am going to fill them with CA glue to strengthen and stabilize the wood, and then I will continue turning. I keep working with a spindle gouge, both in shaping the mushroom stem and in the underside of the cap. I adjust some final details in the area underneath the cap, giving it a slightly concave shape and narrowing a bit the top part of the stem. For these cuts, one has to be patient and careful, particularly in the transition between the stem and the underside of the cap. You can do them with the gouge or you can use a small round scraper. I begin working on the top part of the cap. Initially I try a convex form, but as we will see, the bark band that remains, due to the particular shape of the tree branch, is pretty irregular. Here you have the option to leave it like that or to try to make it more even. There is no right or wrong. It is your criteria as an artist, and in my case I decided to try to make it more even by making first deeper cuts with a concave shape that will transition into a convex one. As we can see, with these cuts, the bark band became more even, and at the same time we gave the top of the cap an interesting design. With most of the turning finished, I can now remove the tailstock and finish the area on the top of the mushroom cap. For the sanding, I start with 120 grit sandpaper, then 180, 240, 320, 400, and finally 600. And I will give it finish with friction polish. After applying several coats of friction polish, I take the piece out of the chuck and applying a couple of CA glue drops, I screw in the stainless steel hardware to complete the project. Here you can see several stills of the finished bottle stopper. I made a similar one in pear tree wood. This one with a thinner bark border in maple. Another in pear tree with a convex curve for the top of the cup. And here you can see the four together. Okay, my friends, I finished the bottle stopper with the shape of a mushroom. You can see it there. This one misses a little bit of the bark, but it's okay, it looks nice. This one is made in American holly. I have undercut a little bit on the bottom, and I made a curve on this part of the cap of the mushroom. So this is one. Then I did some others. I worked on this one with maple. I had a branch of maple. This is a more oval shape on the top. I didn't work that much on undercutting this one to make it easier. I also made this one on Bradford pear. I didn't undercut either this one. You can see the top there. And then I did this one also in Bradford pear with a more straight cut on the top. Here you can compare the two of them. So basically that's the work that I did for using the bark as a design element in these bottle stoppers. I hope you enjoyed the video. If that's the case, please mark the like button below, make comments. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please do so. There it will appear the button to facilitate the subscription, and it will be until the next one. Cheers.